We're back on Endure Edge, and as you can see, we swapped our studio space for the circled square, the ring, the boxing ring. In partnership with Modern Athlete magazine, we have come to pound for pound, and today's guest is an incredible human being. She's a boxer, a trainer, and a mentor to kids. She's come a long way from an abusive past, and today we're going to find out about her journey. Her name is Goffy the Wolf. Welcome to the Endure Edge.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
And it's an honor for me to be sitting here. I've heard a little bit about your story, and we're going to climb into it. And I want to go straight into it because we don't have a lot of time, and I feel the story needs time.
Yeah.
And I want you, you're now a boxing trainer. You mentor kids inside this ring, inside this space behind us. But I'd like you to take us back to before boxing, before all of this amazing stuff happened. Because I feel, I've walked through many boxing gyms' doors in my life. There's always a story with everyone, and it's uplifting stories. People's past in the boxing gyms. For some reason, boxing attracts journeys and stories.
I must say, to be honest with you, the first thing that comes to my mind when, with the whole story is I was adapted through comfort, through chaos. It was something that you had to be completely and absolutely destroyed and shattered before I became. And some people get born, they kind of know where they're going. But I was on this constant journey to find some form of purpose. And it led me into a square box that the box never really ended, to be honest. I've gone from box to box, to be honest. I made it to doses as well along the way. Everyone would be funny. But with regards to the boxing, the fighter's mentality started from when I was born. After that, it was pretty much up to me. And I always call myself a soldier and a warrior. And I feel that it's become a very, it's a harsh mentality to endure as a woman as well. You get born a female to behave and do as such as a female. And it was not my option, but I had to go through it, literally go through it. And it's resulted in a way that has become so beautiful, that I'm able to affect kids in such a way that it becomes like a frequency. It's a frequency now. I'm not just a good person or someone trying to do well. I have to deliver a frequency, and either you get it or you fucking don't. And that's on you afterwards. What I've done now, I'm 33 years old, and I kept saying, I'm like, the life is over. I wanted to be settled by the time I was 27. Before that I was heavily in love. And I can say, if it wasn't for those pinnacle beacons in my life that I had, and it was all through the journey, I had to learn those lessons to result into this. And it was a feather in my wing. Every single obstacle was a feather in my wing. And now we fly, never stop. You can't become complacent with anything. You have to fucking keep going all day. And I'm not going to stop now. It brought me here, and here we are now.
Take us to before you walked through the box, those doors.
So,
what happened in life to make you walk through those doors? As a childhood, growing up, how was growing up for you?
Growing up, well, I think that was the part that I missed the most, is I had to grow up before my time. And I'm sure I relate to many people when I say that, is, if you decided that, oh, he's got this and his mom gave him lunch and that. I mean, my biggest thing was, can I just get to school without contemplating whether I wanted to be here or not? Contemplating why was it okay for mom to or anybody to wish bad on my life when I was just a little girl. I needed protection. I didn't need to be hardened. And before that time, obviously before I went into the boxing ring, is aggression and abuse was the norm. That's why I said, walking in here as comfort in chaos was exactly what I had to know. And my biggest thing with the boxing now is I had to break those generational curses. Like, I had to break the trend now. And, I'm no longer just a victim or anything. I'm the victor of that. And if I'd behaved from what the people around me that were meant to be placed as examples, protection, brothers, I would have become nothing at all. And I needed something that someone could not take away from me. I won't lie to you, it's a beautiful feeling knowing that little girl that I was, she rose, she rose from the ashes. And I mean, my odds were zero to shit, to be honest. If I'd adopted dad's nature or mom's nature or anything like that, I would have been a damsel in distress all my life, and I had to block out the noise completely, and I had to fuck on. So, yeah.
So growing up, a lot of emotional abuse.
Yeah, a lot of it was bullying started at home. They always say, charity starts at home. Bullying started at home. Going home was never a safe place ever. People choose to unsee things, you choose to unhear things, and I could never relate to girls at school or anything like that because home was not like that. And in a weird way, I'm grateful that I was able to be exposed to that kind of harshness growing up. I mean, there was always beautiful moments, and I'd like to hold on to those things, but having that end game was never in sight. I dealt with, I can be honest with you, I mean, I was suicidal from the age of 7. I knew that this was not good. I knew, and I always knew things. One thing my mom always said to me, she's like, from the day you were born, you always knew things and you were special. But, it's something that you can't always just wave a magic wand, as, that was implemented in my life a lot. Oh, I wish I could just wave a magic wand and you would be good. Fuck the magic wand, bro. It doesn't work. I've tried it, and I had to go through all of that. And unfortunately, that comes a lot with, isolation. And it's hard to talk about, it will never become easy, but even now, today, it's a journey where you can overcome it. And, I mean, it's a blessing, bro.
No, and I think it's hard for anyone that's gone through that to talk about, and it's hard to comprehend. Like, I haven't gone through something like that. So to comprehend what you're saying and to actually understand, it's hard. And that's why I think your story is going to reach a lot of people out there. So,
yeah.
So younger years, a lot of emotional abuse, physical abuse. You then grew up. You told me a story, and I'm not going to take it away from you. Something happened at the age of 17 that was very horrible. Tell us a little bit about that.
So obviously, without sharing too much or giving or sharing away my mystery or whatnot, is I have been in situations lately where people have asked, okay, but there's something a bit off about you. There's something different. Like, what made you this? What made you different? So yeah, at the age of 17 years old, I was faced with it was the closest I've ever been to. I don't know how I'm going to get this out, but at the age of 17, I picked the wrong character. Let's put it that way. Some people choose bad friends. I chose somebody that I wanted to keep me safe.
Was this a boyfriend?
Yeah, I was a boyfriend at the time. And what happened was, to nip it in the bud is, I was beaten so badly to a pulp that, I got the consciousness knocked out of me. Obviously, I don't want to make details of how badly the gruesomeness of it was. But I can tell you I was fully aware at the time that I was not going to make it.
Was this boyfriend older than you?
He was a good few older than me. He was about 3 or 4 years older than me at the time. I was still in school. I didn't get the privilege of having like my matric dance or any normality after that.
When you say beated you to a pulp, to what point?
So I had to overcome, it was cracked skull, broken nose, burst eardrum, and a very unfortunate couple blows to my jaw that only now, I think in the past, what was it, just over a year ago, I had to sacrifice of my life because I developed a nerve that had grown into an old fractured jaw.
Jeez, like
And it was causing extreme excruciating pain through my face. I've never been able to really talk properly the same since that at all. Like words become a bit slurred and whatnot, but I think it's a facial neural traumalgia or something like that the maxillonologist diagnosed. But he had to cut it out to the point where you had to remove it so I could stop feeling this.
And that came from the age of 17 when you were beaten to a pulp.
Yeah, it came back to haunt me. So as much as you're kind of like healed and like, okay, cool, you've got a few scars, which I'm not ashamed of. I think everybody needs some, but it came back. And
where did this happen? Sorry, I need to. Yeah. So where did this happen?
This was and I say this to girls now that are choosing people. Never believe that everything what you see is what you kind of get. I didn't expect this. It wasn't something I prayed for, I planned for, and it was a scenario. It happened in a bar. I was also very...
a family friend? How did you meet?
Actually, funny enough that you mentioned it, he was a friend of one of my brother's friends. And it kind of like roped into there. And I mean, I was young. My brothers had just immigrated to the UK. My butt was my best friend at the time. I mean, he brought me up most of it. He made me my dinners at night and he was my bestie, and I was looking for that male companionship, and I was young. I needed that homie. And it came into my life so quickly to a point where I felt safe and I was cool and everything was fun. And I didn't know the dangers of drugs. I didn't know the dangers of alcohol. I didn't know right from wrong. I was left to my own devices, most of the time. And also I was a nonconformist,
Yeah.
Mom may have made a curfew, but I used to tell her, I'll be home. I didn't ask permission ever, You used to listen to your parents, basically. You only realize that later in life. And long story is it started within a pub. There was footage of it. And then you see the little Miss Warrior leaving with this person. And this proceeded into the back end of a fault where I can still to this day, if I think hard enough, I can still say, okay, well, I'm going to kill you now because the damage was so severe. And it kept recurring and recurring. And I remember, I'm sure most of us remember those little Sony Ericsson music phones. I was always a big fan of music. And I was like, actually went through my mind at that time. And I was like, I'm going to have to phone my mom. And I couldn't see anymore because I'd been kicked in the head so many fault.
So he literally fucked you up in a fault. Yeah. Did he just leave you there?
By God's grace, I don't know this to this day. Someone, his own friends showed up out of nowhere and pulled him off me. How they knew where we were or how it was going down. I'll still remember that this yellow Golf showed out of nowhere. And we got separated and they took us back to the house. And I think this person took one look at me and he realized, oh my God, because he was unconscious of what had overcome, It was a moment in his life as well that was very hard on him, I'm sure. And I remember the panga coming up and he just started chopping like, oh, I'm gone, because he wanted to end it.
Okay, so he saw what he did to you and he tried to end his life.
Yeah. And
at that point, that same night?
That same night.
Holy fuck.
So it's like I'm standing there and I'm trying to hold my face together and everything. And before I got rushed to the hospital and whatnot. And I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I was the typical results of like Beater's wife syndrome. Still, even after that, like I still had faith in my head that this person was a good person. He didn't mean it, because I know it's crazy, but this wasn't the first event. It was the finale. And it just kept on recurring. I'm like, no, it can't get worse. It can't get worse.
Okay, so there was physical abuse before that. Over and above, obviously, with the physical abuse is emotional abuse. They go together.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. Sometimes emotional abuse does go alone. but they eventually do go together.
Yeah.
But what is it with that? And I don't know if you can tell me where the physical abuse happens and it's that manipulation where you actually feel like you deserve it almost.
I did deserve it because
Why? No woman deserves it. I don't care what you do. Why do you deserve it?
well, that was my mentality.
Okay, so you don't feel that your mentality was, I do deserve this.
Yes.
I've done wrong, whatever it is.
Well, yeah, that's like I didn't obviously. I mean, I felt like I deserved it because my home front, and that's home is so important. My home front had taken my confidence and ripped me to such a part where I had no better choice but to choose a partner like this because of what I was used to, you know. And I should have known, but at that point,
You're a baby still.
I was a baby.
You're a kid.
Yeah, I was a baby. And I mean, I think one of the first times, I mean, I remember lying to my parents and saying it was the bouncers. They did this to me.
Okay, so that was my next question.
Yeah.
You are now fucked up to the... you are smashed.
Yeah.
You go home. What do you tell your family? What do you tell your parents? What do you tell the doctors? Was there police involved? Like, where did this all go?
That's I mean, my old man, obviously, I mean, he wanted to obviously take this far further, but I was so petrified.
But he didn't know the truth, though.
He had to go find the truth, and that was the worst.
Okay.
You know, even now with the maxillologist and whatnot, Henny Kloppers he said to me, this is an old fracture, but it's a bad fracture. How?
What actually happened?
What happened? And I was like, my old man was sitting next to me at the point, and I was like, yeah, we go again. Like, I've got to meet
Tell someone the story.
Exactly.
Face those demons.
And that was cuck. And I remember getting onto a phone to a friend, and I was like, I can't do this. It's too much. My old man's here. I'm again bringing this back into my life, and it's like it won't stop haunting me. And I mean, all I wanted to do was just blame it on something else. You know, again, there's the old trauma coming back. Blame it on something else. You know, can't possibly. Well, no, it was that. You know, it's tough because as much as the 16 or so, 13 years had passed, you know, it didn't ever go away. It will always be there. And it's a fuck up. And it made our life made me different from every other fucking woman for the rest of my days. No girl at that age is meant to go through something like that and then be like, normal, like, all right, let's go have a drink. Well, first of all, I can't.
Yeah.
And it did make me very self-aware after that. I mean, I do remember a few moments in my life when I was out and I tried to, you know, get into my normal state, you know, party like everybody else. And I remember seeing a few things go on, like, you know, I'll see a guy like pull a girl like this, and the fence and my protection just immediately woke up. Every time I saw something like that, I was like, what are you doing, bro? Like, I can see where this is going. And I adopted this filter where it was a flex. Like, we gained a superpower by what he did to me. I really did.
Wow, that's powerful. I mean, to have gone through that and then you say you've gained a superpower. And we're going to touch base on that now. So your parents find out the truth. Everyone around you finds out the truth, whatever, at the age of 17. What happened then? Like, where did your life go from then? Did you go see someone for help? Did you get professional help?
I did see someone for help. I did talk about it a lot. I ended up fighting with most of them, to be honest. It was almost like
you don't agree with what they say.
Exactly. It was almost like, I mean, I went to several different nursery schools before I settled down, but I kicked every teacher. You know, I couldn't run away I couldn't get comfortable. And it's like, after that, you know, I did lose 99.9% of my friends. I mean, my friends did try to help during the point. I mean, weirdly enough, it started with dead legs, like a punishment, like you out of line, and it started from there. And the girls at school, they went to go tell I think the principal, whichever. And I was like, no, everything's fine. I'm just a foul.
So did the school not know about this?
They eventually did.
Okay.
They eventually did. And it's funny enough, you know, those people, they also just, they grew up and they went on with their lives, you know. There was a massive suicide attempt during this time with me as well. I didn't want to.
Still at the age of 17.
Yeah, I didn't want to continue, and I kind of knew where my life was going. And I remember he said to me, he's like, if I can't have you, no one can. And I was petrified, but yes,
Sure.
And I grew a little bit after that, obviously mentally, especially. And then I picked up the gloves. I went to Allentown Wheels at that time. And
Okay, so at the age of 17,
yeah,
who walked you into the boxing gym?
my damn self, bro.
Okay.
I went looking, and I was fierce. And I've said this now, as
Did you go look for self-defense? Because you feared things of what happened?
you can say that. Yeah, you can say that, actually. I did go look for self-defense, but I also needed to channel this energy that came in me, and I was mad, bro. When I say I was mad, I was no longer behaving in a female state. I was aggressive. I had a underlying burning desire to execute some form of something, pain, I mean, it started on myself. I had moments of frustration where instead of, climbing into whoever was in front of me, I used to so badly just smack myself, like the back of the head. And I was like, I can't take this anymore. And I needed to channel that. And when I met the bag, and the bag met me, we became best friends because I realized I had a fucking challenge.
What was your first thoughts when you walked through those doors of a boxing gym? You said Alan Will.
Yeah, Allentown.
Okay. So when you walked through those doors, it's in the south, of Johannesburg.
Yeah, they were by Linden.
Okay.
I must say, as far as Allentown Wheel goes, one of the best men that I've ever actually had the pleasure of shaking hands with and knowing. I think it's been a long time now that we've crossed paths back and forth, and there's always going to be a solid understanding between me and that man. Yeah.
Do you remember how you felt, your feelings, your thoughts when you were walking through that door for the first time?
I definitely.
As a female, I mean, as a female now walking into a boxing gym, people go, wow, is she coming to box even? And it's become more of a norm, but it's still a thing, especially if you want to go to a pro level, etc., and
Yes.
actually get into fights. Hitting a bag and for
It's one.
a boxer size is one thing, but coming to a ring sparring as a female, as a male is one thing, as a female is another thing. So,
Well,
how did you feel the first time as a teenager doing this yourself? You've just gone and beaten up some,
my legs were shaking.
I don't want to say the word, but yeah.
My legs were shaking after that session, I can honestly say. I remember getting into.
So you walked through and you had a session immediately.
Well, yeah, I picked up the gloves there
Okay.
inside the gym, and I don't know how to say this, but I got into that ring that first session, and I don't know if I'm allowed to mention names with the person that I did box for the first time, but yeah, Wesley Till was the first person that I ever was actually had my first sparring session with. And then Crispin Hearn was like at the time at the gym, so we going back. Going back, and I found him.
Crispin Hearn's a legend.
Yes. Bless him, and everything, his journey is beautiful. But one of the nights, I think I went for 2 sessions that week. One of the nights there was load shedding. The lights went out, and I remember Alan whipped out a couple of candles inside that gym, and being the only female in that gym at the time was also another sense of here we go again. I've only had guy friends in my life, and now I'm in a gym. I'm the only girl. I was just meant to be born a boy at that point, and it kept on going back and forth. I mean, there was a reason why I specifically chose that gym as well. The person that obviously I incurred that terrible trauma with, that was his fucking gym originally. And I remember going there with him for a session. I was on the bench. And I observed.
Wow, so this dickhead was a boxer too. Sorry. Okay. You should be banned from every boxing gym anyway. So a lot of women never find their way out of this, never mind a teenager.
Yeah.
Okay. What was it about boxing that gave you that escape?
Nothing hits as hard as a wall. Nothing hits as hard as a fucking wall. And my biggest enemy was always myself. So when I had boxing to find that escape, I mean, there's a process now, there's a routine. Number one, you got to put on your armor. Number two, you got to be mentally ready, completely mentally ready. And number three, one of those 3 moments where you're going to get hit, you got to have a fucking plan. And I never had a fucking plan. So when that plan started becoming calculated and I was able to use technique, and you'll see, like, even with most of my clients now, and I'm like, okay, you understand why you're doing it, right?
Yeah.
You know why you're slipping this side. You know why you're doing it. I said, visualize it. Make it your reality. And to be honest with you, most of the time when I'm training my clients, you know, I'm seeing stuff. I'm seeing big things. And I've got to adopt that scenario at the time for them to actually execute correctly. But not everybody can go through what you went through, Goff, and that's been tough. You know, you got to see, like, some people are coming here because of abuse. Some of them are coming here because of anger. Some of them are coming here just because their dad wants them to do it, you know? The fourth person special is always at number 4. I was a number 4. And that's where you find soul. And I say in this sport, you know, you can do it, but you can't teach heart. And I can tell you now, people that are doing it for fitness, they're doing it for a bit of praise here and they're like, oh, I'm badass. But why? I want to know why. Tell me the good stuff. I want to know the juicy stuff, you know? So
Everyone's got that.
Everyone's got that story, man. I mean, it's a beautiful place to be, man.
So there's something about boxing that's just raw honesty. Like getting hit, number one. And I've done a little bit of it. No, I'm not good at it, but getting hit, number one, and being able to hit back.
Being able to back.
And it sounds like it was your therapy.
Yeah.
And it still is your therapy.
Still is my therapy, yeah.
Tell us about boxing as your therapy.
Okay. So let's say, so the T in boxing, R rates, you can say, doesn't exist, right? You got to find your missing piece with boxing. And I mean, the therapy is the missing piece. It's the one thing we will never be able to close. And that's what keeps them letting you come back, is it becomes a hunger in boxing. There's never one session that's like the other, which is what I've noticed. You know, when you put those gloves on, and you could have an opponent, it's never about your weight. It's never about your mental state of mind at that point. You know, you're following a 60-minute session, whichever it may be. But the therapy that comes with the boxing is, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be straight up. Being behind those mitts, especially training male clients, is a healing journey for me every single fucking time. And I'm catching, and I'm doing it good. And with that pound, and, you know, finding that song, you know, every time you do it and you getting that movement is almost like an instant reward. So I got this. I got this. It's good. And the best is when, you know, you give it back. But you're doing it in a way that you're not abusing someone or saying you're shitty or anything. Like, bro, that's pretty good. You know, like, you've done it correctly. Well done. You executed it in the correct fashion. And when I feel that power and I'm handling it, it's like, I can do that again. And I shit you not. Try me now. Try me now. You know? You get me?
I get you.
Yeah. Try me now.
Yeah.
It's the nice thing about this whole thing is, you know, it's a passion, but it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? It's just not for everybody. I mean, I'm a female in
a male-dominated sport.
100%, and it's always been that way. You know, it's like, but like from a child, I always had guy friends. My best friends are boys. You know, I was always with the boys. And, you know, that's where the brotherhood kind of instilled in me. And it was hard. I mean, most girls were threatened, not because of looks or anything like that, because of, why do I want to chill with her? You know, why is she funny? You know, why is she cool? Because she's just a guy's girl, you know, and it's going to be that way for many moons still to come. It wasn't a choice. It's just, this is my environment. And it's the habitat that I can thrive in because it's all I've ever known, you know.
The boxing gym as a family to you?
Oh,
I've always heard
hit
that
me in my feels.
boxing gyms are families and it's family orientated. So tell us a little bit about what you get from that.
So I'll take you through a walkthrough. It is, you know, the moment you walk through that door, there's always someone that's going to say good morning, which I find so important. There's always someone that's going to say, are you okay? Or how you doing? Or did you do this yesterday? Or have you seen this? And when you walk through and you see those smiles, and the best thing is about it is, you know, if you've got a client or someone around you, you know, having that smile from, you know, someone that you work with every single day that see me low, they see me at a low point, they've seen me stranded, they've seen me abandoned, you know, they've seen me out here in my royalty, and they have never chosen to be like, she's a softie, she's a weak, she's that. And coming here and saying, good morning, brother. It's really good morning, brother. How are you? It's a family that I would take a huge loss without. They come before most. You know, if the first people I would phone if I was in trouble. You spend most of your time here, at the gym, and you know, you got to see the value in that. You know, they bring their kids here. You get to know their families. You know, it becomes a home. And I think if I were to lose the boxing gym, I'd lose a lot, because it's just people that have always seen the light in you. You know, I could never walk away from here and be like, I'm gonna go do a 9 to 5 now and be okay ever again. Not a fuck. Not a chance. I mean, you'll see, like, I mean, we've got like an absent hour or an absent 2 hours. We're not going to go sit on our phones and chill in our cars. We come together and we chill. You know, it's a community. It's a family.
I love that. You talk real life stories.
Talk real life. So I've had the conversations I've had in this gym have most of the time molded me for my next week.
It's that community again, that everyone talks about, that people need in their lives.
It's the most special. And if you can get in to a community like this, you'll never look back. Like, it's not an office job. You're not going to say, okay, well, happy birthday, Carol. You know, have a good one. You know, this is like, bro, like, how are you doing on your day? Like, is it been off to a good start? You know, like, what are your plans? You know, like, we're going to be here. We're going to be here for you. And God forbid anybody upsets your fucking birthday in this gym, let me tell you. So...
And that goes for the trainers, the clients, everyone.
The clients.
It's not just it's everyone that makes that community.
Exactly.
It's everyone that walks through these doors.
Most of us, we would come here and, you know, you'll get your regular, and they're here to unravel, and they're like, bro, how's it going with your wife? She was sick, man. You're doing good. You know, everyone knows each other's clients by name. We know the amateurs, we know the pros that come through here. And when we go out and we have an event or whichever, we go as a unit. Like, this is our time. And it's like, it's a shield, bro. It's an absolute shield. And, you know, with you know, pound for pound has an energy. When you walk through these doors, you felt it yourself. You know, you can feel calm. As much as there's so much aggression that goes on here, there's
a sense of calmness. You're right. You won, and I felt that walking through.
You did, eh?
There's a sense of calmness working and safety almost.
Exactly.
It's a bit of a mind fuck.
It's a bit of a mind fuck.
but it really is. And you'll only feel that when you walk in here.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain to someone, actually.
It's so hard.
So let's talk a little bit about your training.
Yeah.
I've noticed on your social media, there's adults, you train adults.
Yes.
There's a lot of kids that you train, which I think is amazing.
Thank you.
I love that. I love to see kids in the sport. You know, the sport is not spoken about at school, in the school level, because, you know, it's not soccer or rugby or something like that, or cricket. So to see kids doing it is amazing. What do you do to get your story? And obviously you don't talk about your story to the kids, but what do you do with those kids to get your story across to them?
Can I be honest? I actually had this experience recently. I noticed a little girl that had a few little characters that I had as a child. And every time I wanted to, just give her some water during her session, she's like, no, I got this. Like, I can do this. I've got gloves on. I'm like a crab right now, but I'm going to manage this, coach. And I said, no. I said, baby girl, you don't always have to do everything for yourself. You don't. It's okay to have some help. And I realized how she's like, okay, coach, can you open my water bottle for me? I said, of course. And that was a start where I could see that as she grows up, she's going to say, I've got this. I'm fine. I'm okay. Be afraid of asking for assistance. And I said that.
Never talk about it.
Exactly. And I can see that demeanor coming through. And my little break with her for 60 minutes that I have with boxing, she's executing that jab correctly or incorrectly. I mean, praise is so important. But I can tell you now, there's like a little fire that I can see there. And God forbid she makes a mistake. She's so hard on herself. And I promise you, since that first time, she's now adopted that nature, because I showed up in her life to show her that you can ask me to open your water bottle. I got this, girl. It's my job to do that for you, and you'll see that later in life. And funny enough, she actually asked me the other day, I put her in front of the mirror, and she's jabbing and whatnot. And I said, it's you vs you, baby girl. She goes, but that's me. That's me though. And I said, you're so cute.
How old is she?
She's 11 now.
Okay.
11. And she said to me, she's like, but wait, that's me though in the mirror. I can see myself. And I was like, that will make sense later in life one day.
So when they walk through the door the first time, these little kids, I'm sure although kids normally have high confidence in any way, but I'm sure they're scared. They walk into a boxing gym. Their parents have probably pushed them to come here.
I
don't see a 7 or 8 or even 11-year-old girl or little boy going, I want to go box. Well, maybe the boys, but the girl's going, I want to go box.
Well, yeah. So when they walk through, I won't lie.
What do you do to build that confidence?
Honestly, I'm not going to say you break them. You break them. So we start off really slow. I like to, you'll see when I'm wrapping their hands and whatnot, it's actually the best part of the session, because I'll always ask you, how was your day? How was school? And I can see where the eyes are moving side to side or whichever it is. It's a real mentality thing. You got to see if someone's good or bad. But with a kid, you've got to really dig.
Yeah, they don't just talk.
Especially
if they don't know you.
Especially if they don't know me. I mean, we're talking about now first brand new session is like, okay, so what school do you go to? And what's your favorite food? Did you eat today? Because food's always a good topic.
They never eat.
They either eat or they like this. They just tell you a whole bunch of junk. But I always like to know. And I'll give you away one of my secrets is when they tell me what they ate or if mom packed their lunch. I always listen because I never had that. Mom never packed lunch for me, So when they say, "Oh, I had a toasted salmi and I had this and this was in my lunchbox," I said, "Okay, cool. That tells me a lot about home. It tells me a lot about home." And then we take it from there basically. And I mean, most of them bring snacks. I'm not gonna lie. In between that, and that's always food is just a good topic with the kid because they get excited and it's like a reward. So when they're training and they take a break, I'm like, okay, do you want 30 seconds? They really run for their snacks. It's hilarious. So I've got to turn into the snack eventually. You know what I mean? Like I've got to make them crave me like they crave food. But
they've got to want to come here.
But
if it's twice a week, once a week, whatever.
Once a week. So, I mean, with the lunchbox, I mean, it's just a great motive to start off with. What was in your lunchbox today? And I mean, when they get older, it's like, okay, well, what was on your mind today? And you can grow with that. You know what I'm saying? So by the time they start unraveling, I like to play a bit of a game. So when they tell me something's bad and it's happened and this has irritated them, I was like, oh yeah. And I'm paying full attention here. And I'm wrapping them and I'm getting the gloves going. I give them their first combo and I said, oh, and what did you say to her? And I realized, that they're still executing in that same fashion. And I said, did you see what you just did there? And they're like, no. I was like, you just compartmentalized. You spoke about your problem, but you handled it at the same time. Here's your first lesson of the day.
It's amazing. I love that. I want to go a little bit onto women in the combat sport area. Yourself as a woman, do you ever feel women are normally underrated in the combat sport area? Do you feel underestimated as a survivor? Because you're a survivor. You've survived a lot. What we heard in the beginning of this podcast. Do you feel underestimated as a woman in the sport and as a survivor?
For sure, 100%. I mean, I'm one female here at the gym. I mean, and you've got to have a pretty thick skin. Underestimated, for sure. Many times. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, women, if we want to go to a bar, if we want to go to the gym, you know, we either have to underplay ourselves because that's what's expected, or we have to outdo and we have to outwork. So we've always got to do more than the average, you know. So with the sports, I mean, think about it. A guy, it's basic, you know, you just get up quickly, have a shower, run out of the house. But we've got a version of ourselves that we have to produce every day. You feel me? Women got
an expectation. What do people expectation of you? Yeah?
Yes,
what society has created.
100%, man. I mean, you know, the guys come here, they can have a session, a quick shower. I mean, we've still got to show up in the feminine.
To blow over your hair, makeup on.
100%. I mean, we got to think about hair day. You know, like most of my clients is like, I mean, you know,
I can't wash my hair every day.
Yeah, so I'll have like my Thursdays. I know will be mostly females because I'm like, it's hair wash day today.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hair wash day today. They're gonna get dirty first, so it's like,
ladies, you want a box? Come box it. Come over to the wolf.
Thursdays. So at the wolf. But yeah. With that being said, you got to take into note is like, you know, when a woman walks into this gym, is some of them have kids, you know, as well. You got to fit into those schedules, but it's a sad approach that some guys have. That, oh well, you know, you box, okay, what do you do, boxercise? No,
yeah,
I do it like you do it, bro. I'm not here to fuck around. I'm here to
fight.
You got to fight, right? Okay, well, what do you want to do? You want to just go hit the bag? I'm like, I don't want to just hit the bag. I want to do it correctly, and I want to understand it. Like, as a man, you've always got that masculine dominant, you know, it's in you, you know. But with most men, they always think like, oh, it's on her a little bit. She had a bad day. She's fighting with her boyfriend, you know.
Because of all these things that you're saying, do you think women approach boxing differently, like with more emotion and resilience than what a guy does?
Well, yeah, think of was my first experience. I mean, you have to go through something. I mean, when I was hitting the first time and I burst into those tears, I ain't gonna lie to you, I've had girls start crying here. You know, I've had girls throw their gloves down on the floor and they've like, nah, it's not for me. It's not for me. And I always say, I'm like, just give it time. You know, I want you to look at me, and I always say, look me in the eye, because they're always focused on, am I going to hit the right mitts? Is this correct? Just look me in the eye. You won't fuck up. I promise. You won't fuck up. And it works like a fucking dream every time. They're like, oh, I'm like, you just trusted yourself. That's why. So yeah, it's exactly that. It's exactly that.
Let's talk a little bit of mindset, because all of this takes a mindset. How do you deal with fear now, both in sparring or a fight and in your life? Like, fear must have been a thing from the age of 17. How did you deal with fear? There must be women out there that are getting beaten up like you by some idiot or some arsehole. I can use worse names than that. Let's not. And they must be so fearful. How did you deal with that fear?
So back to the box. Had to put that. I couldn't pack that away ever, to be honest with you. I scan the room now. I read the room, but by scanning the room, you know, that response of having to escape, I always feel like something's chasing me. So to handle fear now, I had to become bigger than it. I'm such a scaredy cat, to be honest. I'm the softest girl ever. But when it comes to how to handle that fear, I'll walk into a restaurant and I'll walk into a boxing gym or a normal gym, and I see the people, I see where the exit doors are. And this is a man's job, you know. That's what a man's meant to do for a woman is, I want to plan. If something goes down, I need to know how to get the fuck out of here. And that has become something that I wish I could unlearn, and I can't. So the fear of that is, it's never walked away, but I want to get to a point where I don't need to be like that anymore, and my nervous system can calm, you know. Walk into a restaurant, not worry about, you know, what could go down. And that's like that constant scare. It's always there. Fear, you gotta learn how to fuck fear, actually. You just fuck it. You always got to be aware. And like, it's the same with training. Like we were chatting about earlier, is, like, what are you training for? I'm training for life. Why are you wanting to get over fear? For life, bro. I'll never stop being scared. Ever. You've got to have good days and you're going to have bad days. But what you do with that at the end of that, I mean, that's got to be when you go put your head down at night and say, I handled that better than yesterday.
One day at a time.
One day at a fucking time. Yeah.
Do you think boxing gave you back your voice and identity after abuse tried to take it away?
125%. 125%. So it's a divine intervention of driving in the car and someone's hooting at you or swearing at you, and you reacting, and then that same situation happens to you and you saying, go bro, it's all right. It brought a sense of understanding for abuse in a channeled way. You get me? So instead of overreacting or acting out or anything, it made me handle those demons, to channel that. Like, I mean, I was in that case, someone wants to challenge me, I'll go, bro. If I can handle all of those erosions to the head, I can handle this. I can fight you. But it made me adopt that version of myself, that I needed. So yeah, 100%. I agree with that for sure.
You spoke earlier about the superpower that abuse has given you, which is actually very interesting. You've taken your experience and your shit experience, it's the smallest word I can use, and you've turned it into what you call a superpower.
It's a superpower.
How have you done that? What advice have you got for women out there who are battling abuse physically, emotionally? Firstly, to get away. Secondly, to change it into a superpower. I mean, how, as a 17-year-old, did you get fucked up so badly and you've turned this all around? How? I don't know if you know. Did it just happen? Was it the people around you? Yeah.
There it is. So I think because people have fallen off and because there's been a lot of unreliable, you can only count on yourself, is my biggest journey, especially message like that to women, especially, is surround yourself with people that operate in forever.
Just repeat that.
Surround yourself with people that operate in forever.
Love that. That's powerful.
That would be the flex for sure. That would be a superpower. Yeah, you can't buy that either,
Your future self? Where do you see yourself? As a fighter, a coach, a woman trying to help other women? All three of those?
All threat, man. All threat, man. Definitely. The coaching thing will never. That will always be there. I will never stop. I mean, even in the ring and out the ring, I'll never stop helping people. Can have a conversation later. Someone will need that kind of coaching experience. So whatever nature that was going to get pulled out of me in situations, I'll always be there. But yeah, the fights, definitely that's going to come up. Coaching, it's going to be in my heart forever. And but the main thing at the end of that would just be like, how many lives can I touch through this at this moment? I know for a fact that I'm going to have that opportunity one day to turn around and say, I'm proud of someone that I helped, and I can't wait, because I know that I've given that to someone before as well. And to turn around and see her, whether it be male or female, and say, I knew that what was going on there, and look at you now. Look at you now. So yeah, definitely coaching, fighting. It's not. I don't want to overshare. Obviously, not allowed to. But that is.
Watch the space.
Watch this space. Watch this space. The wolf will always be there, though. Definitely.
if you could sit down with your younger self before you laced up the gloves, what would you tell your younger self while the abuse was happening? If you could take it all back, what would you tell yourself?
Can take it back
before the gloves.
Before the gloves. Can take it back to when you say that, funny enough, the first thing that comes to my mind is the pillow that I used to cry in, and I used to say to myself, being the so-called old soul that my mom used to say I was, is no one's ever going to love this. No one's ever going to care. They're never going to understand. I mean, I'd lived about maybe 6 years of my life, and I already thought that I was too hard to understand. You know, this is too complicated. I used to say my Hail Marys, want to not be here. I used to wish my life away. You know, I don't want to wake up tomorrow. So the thing that I would tell little Goffy is breathe, first of all. That would be nice. Don't hold your breath. Life does go very quickly. But if you just sit and wait and be patient, you just know time may tell. And I did hold on. I don't know how I didn't let go. But that little girl, roll with the punches. There's something bigger planned for you. Just hold on. It might take 30 years, might take 40 years, but there is calm, and it's coming hard. And I don't mean calm like a landmine either. Just calm. It will be quiet.
Man, that is so powerful. Wow, that is powerful. Last question. I think you'll like this, man.
Is it about food?
It's not about food. Do you think everyone should learn how to fight? Not to hurt anyone, but for self-respect and confidence?
Yes. I think that should be taught in schools, to be honest. Before math, before science, before biology, learn how to fight, because the vision that you're going to instill with that, you got to learn how to fight, bro. Like, if you don't know how to fight, how are you going to overcome when you go home and mom and dad, you don't even know what's happened in life yet, or having an argument? If you learn how to fight, you're going to have that mentality of like, okay, well, that's happening, but I can learn how to, like I said earlier, compartmentalize this. And if that can be instilled in someone from a young age, especially, I say, start them young. Start it whenever you can. If you can learn how to fight, you're going to learn how to control yourself, and you're going to realize the magnitude of your own power. No one knows how strong they are until they get put in the situation. But imagine you're in that situation, you haven't prepared for it. You want to be that guy. So learn how to fight. But internally, mentally, physically, emotionally, fine, given. But learn how to fucking fight. Here, and learn how to fucking move. Because I promise you, you're going to be in a situation, and life humbles you. I've seen that. Nobody wants to be, no one wants to be that guy where I didn't plan for this, bro. Oh, orthodox southpaw. You know what I mean? I didn't plan for this. I didn't plan to survive on bananas for 10 days either. But I got through it because I know what it's like to starve. That's why. I know what it's like to starve. So it's like, when you wake up in the morning and you realize, okay, my mission is I've got Monday to Sunday. What are you going to do that Monday to Sunday? That's what, 3 days? What are you going to do 5 days? That's where you learn how to fight. Because there's a lot of things that can happen in between that. So yeah, I think people should fucking fight, bro.
Yeah, there's so much we can still talk about.
Yeah.
But this was powerful.
Yeah.
And what I love is you've taken something that could have broken you, and you've turned it into fuel. You've turned it into fuel to turn your life around. Please never stop talking about your story, even when it's hard.
The strength through struggle, man.
Because there's people out there that need to hear your story. And you won't even know that you're helping someone out there when someone talks about you. I know someone who went through this. Speak up, keep talking. Thank you for today. Thank you for being raw and honest and truthful. I know it's hard to talk about.
You made it comfortable. you know that you brought out a
you.
good energy. So thank
Thank-
you. So thank
And we will do a round two.
course.
We will do a round two because there's
Yeah,
lots to talk about.
the potassium podcast is going
Yes, still around
bananas, bro.
the starving on bananas.
This guy.
But we will do a round two because there's so much to talk about. I want to thank Pound for Pound. Thank you for hosting us, for having us here.
Pleasure, man.
This is an amazing gym.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone. Thank you to Modern Athlete Magazine for partnering with us with this.
Of course.
And yeah, thank you and stay blessed and keep doing what you're doing.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you, G.